Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Excellent. Scott, how you doing today, bud?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. I'm trying to stay hydrated, and I'm having a little munch of banana between these things. It's quite intense, though, isn't it? Going on these things back to back is a little bit. Yeah,
that was actually what I wanted to ask you. When you're doing these press days, I mean, you're going all day long, 10, 15-minute interviews. I mean, what is it? Do you have like a routine? Do you have some protein snacks you take in between?
I got a banana. I got some tea, English British tea, and some water. But that's about it. To be honest, I think it's I'm worried that am I repeating myself, or did I answer that with the last interview?
No, you're good.
It's it's a lot of fun though. Look, it's great to talk about the movie. I'm really excited about it coming out, and actually, it's just lovely to talk to people who've seen the movie and who can talk about it. And it's been, filming a film like this is, I just said, it's kind of a bit lonely in a sense, in that you do it, no one sees it, no one knows kind of what goes through it, and then it's nice to share it. So it's kind of cathartic, I guess, doing these kind of interviews.
Sure. I mean, we're excited to have you on. I just watched this, I believe, the week before last, and my fiance was at the office that day, and she got back home, and I said, "Hun, this movie was fantastic." And she was like, "Oh, well, tell me about it, whatnot." But we'll get into that later. I got to say, y'all knocked it out of the park with this one. The visuals, the acting. I mean, especially when you have two people in such a confined area that automatically induces vertigo while you're watching it.
It does, doesn't it? It's horrible.
No, but in a good way though. Like I haven't had like this good of, I guess you could say, anxiety watching a film, because I mean, it's every second you don't know what's going to happen next. As a filmmaker, like how exciting was this a project for you? Because I've seen Heist and a couple of the other projects. You got explosions, you got everything else.
Yeah, it's those, and I learned a lesson with those movies. Like I love those movies, very proud of them, and myself and Jono, who wrote those films too. It's like but we always felt like cinema is kind of changing, right? Like, and the form's changing. Like, how we watch things as a society and what things are worth and why we do it has changed. And I think there's certain mediums are better for other things. And it was really like with Height, like identifying that Height was kind of this untapped element of kind of thrills and horror, really. Like there's bits of it in other movies, but never kind of really something centered around that idea. And I think there is that. What's great about it is having that idea that you can have this like drawn out tension, that kind of one movement this way or that and it's over. So you have a nice long leading tension to play with. But we really wanted to look at it like, okay, what's cinema in its purest form? And cinema in its purest form, I think, is feeling something, experiencing something. It's a theme park ride, right? Yeah. So I think that is what we want to do, is like take the audience on this ride, like, and take them up the tower. Don't like just observe it, but put them into that. And I think like the other film, a few people have been saying to me that the other film that did it, like, I'm not suggesting we compare ourselves to this, but like the other film that did it recently that played in that field was Top Gun, right? That like had them in really doing it, and it really captured it. And I'd say that I was overjoyed to see that movie, because finally there was something that gave you a theme ride experience. And for me, with this movie, it's like someone said to me, like, that's like Disneyland and this is like Six Flags, right? It's the intense version of the theme park ride. So I think that was the aim, to do something that really that really used the theatrical experience for the right reasons and really kind of put you there. So that was always at the forefront of our mind, and that was that evoked a lot of choices and decisions that really that matter for that form.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that is BLEAV 50, To receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit, bet online where the game starts. Yeah, no, I mean, you definitely captured it, because that was the one thing I was telling my fiance and my friends who I've been bragging about, hey, I can't wait for you guys to see this movie Fall when it comes out, because I literally felt like I was up there with Becky and Hunter. And
yeah, well, I get that's the thing. You were, because they were as well, right?
Right.
The thing is, like, filming it really at the height we filmed it and capturing it, I think we couldn't have, it wouldn't have felt the same at all. Like, had this been like done in a like all the things that were thrown up originally, like green screen and doing all, we even looked at like the back, the LED Mandalorian kind of version,
right.
Which is like the advanced green screen stuff, really. But faking it wouldn't have worked. And I think all the, what I'm proud of is just the fact that we managed to get up there, we managed to capture it and do it for real was the big challenge, really. So and I think that really, as an experience, like, I would, in terms of, was it your fiance you said that was with you, or your girlfriend?
Oh, she wasn't there, but I was the one trying to explain it to her. I know she.
I was going to say, yeah, if you sure on the biggest screen possible is my recommendation. The experience does get kind of wilder as you get bigger, so for sure.
Oh, I can't wait, because I only had to watch it here at home. So when it goes to theaters, I'm definitely going to watch it.
Correct. Yeah.
Can't wait. So the scene was, or not the scene, but the majority of the movie was literally shot off a side of a cliff, correct?
Yeah. It was this huge mountain, Shadow Mountain. It was in the middle of the desert. It took us ages to find this place. It was like, there's a few criteria. One is having like a place with a big drop off. Yeah. Access is almost impossible. I literally, we ended up finding these places by going to Google Earth and hitting an altitude and searching through Google Earth to see which peaks actually offered like the right height. Because it's all like, you're talking about rural, you talk about the middle of nowhere. They're not kind of marked places of any, it was literally like an abandoned radio hut up there or something. That was it. But yeah, it took us a long time to find the right location. And I think, the film was as much an engineering feat as anything else, to get up there.
And, what would you say as far as it, because I was looking through the press notes, and it took you a little while to find, the characters for Becky and Hunter. And originally it was supposed to be a boyfriend, girlfriend going up to the tower, then switched it over to, which I thought was an incredible dynamic. And then don't want to do any spoilers, so we'll leave that for later. About what was it with, I think your nickname for Virginia was Ginny, with Ginny and Grace, just their connection, because you could see it on screen, but how exciting was that when you saw them audition together?
Oh man, It just came to life when they did their chemistry read. Like, they done individual reads that were very impressive anyway, right? But they did the chemistry read, and it just totally came to life. They were the characters, and it was like, and you can feel it. Watch it, and it was on a Zoom, so it's a hard environment, especially kind of going back then when we were all not accustomed to this environment, because typically this would be an in-person thing. And so it just came to life at that point for me, and they are. They have got their elements, their characters in them, right? And I think there's that, again, without spoilers, right? There are certain elements that are hard to do as characters, and I think, say Ginny, for example, there is an element of like, she, in the way she kind of plays and who she is, and it's kind of, you want to fall in love with her because it's important to fall in love with her. And Ginny kind of just, you'd fall instantly in love with her, even though she's kind of doing some daft stuff. It's like you're with her, and it's really important. And then with Grace, that I loved the, to be honest, it's like a vulnerability of Grace, like that lets you in there. And she's so kind of able to kind of pull out that raw emotion and really capture it in the subtlety, because really, like, you've got these two characters very close together in this small space, and capturing, and playing those subtleties is important, right? And there's such a range for both of them, right? They and so I loved it, and they were really like, it was a very small kind of environment, and it was just hanging out with those two every day was also a lot of fun. We all tried to put a positive spin on the various kind of biblical nightmares that affected us during production.
Yeah, nothing like shooting in the middle of a pandemic, huh?
Man, that was only the half of it. I don't know if you heard, but we had like hurricanes, lightning strikes. We had like the set blow down one time. We had like infestation of locust ants, things that we couldn't. It was nuts. But we ended up like actually surrendering to trying to work against the world, and we leaned into it in the end. And it was like, okay, all right. So like, I remember one of the days in part of the film, obviously we've gone to all this effort to film up at height. And I remember one of the days there was fires in California, as there normally is, right, that time of year, and it had covered this kind of fog over the whole desert. And I was like, oh man, we've come all the way up here. We can't see shit. Might as well be in like a white studio. But we filmed and the fog cleared a bit and it gave a different flavor. And I remember just feeling like, oh, we just have to go with it, right? Like we're filming this stuff. We're shooting it. We've got them in that real environment, which means we just kind of film it, have them perform it, have them kind of switch around and just kind of capturing it around the weather and just getting the scene, completing the scene. It became a lot more fun in a way, because you're then just directing it in the kind of most pure way, and they're getting to perform it in the most pure way, just like in the moment. So in the end, we kind of leaned into the things that were killing us in production and just went with it, and I think that helped with the movie.
There you go. Definitely last but not least, you worked with Jeffrey Dean Morgan on Heist before. Did you already envision him as the father?
Yeah, 100%. Like 100%. I love Jeff. Like he's a friend, and we went through we had a great film we did together. And basically, like when we wrote The Father, it was a case of we wrote Jeff, basically. We wrote it for Jeff. There was never any doubt. And I was like, look, I've got this part. It's only, it's not many days on set or anything, but it is really huge to the story. And it's so important to get this right, to get, you have a limited time to carry this very important kind of element. So I was thrilled that he was on board, and it was great to work with him again. I love him a bit. He's a star.
He's definitely one of my favorites out there. Anything you want to say to the fans out there before they get a chance to preview, which I consider, I'm not a fan of heights, just to go ahead and throw it out there. Like I said, I got vertigo, but I was sucked in with the visuals and the performances. I mean, you knocked it out of the park with this film. I love it. I cannot wait for the world to see it. So any parting words out there for the fans of Zero?
I think, well, my words would be to encourage people to watch this in the biggest screen possible, and to kind of go with a group, right? And like go with your friends. And if you dare, basically, go to the cinema, strap yourself in and enjoy the ride, is what I was saying.
There you go. Well, thank you so much again for your time out here.
Thank you.
We do appreciate you, Scott. Good luck with the film.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us here at Zero Dark.
Thank you. Thank you very much, mate. All right. It's been a pleasure. Cheers, man. Take care.
Into it. So, Grace, thank you so much for joining us here at Zero Dark Nerdy. How is your press day going? I know these things can be a little hectic and chaotic, and hopefully yours is off to a good start.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Couldn't be better. I love nerding out and talking about stuff I've worked on.
Well, you're on the perfect podcast, being Zero Dark Nerdy. So there you go. So the film Fall coming out tomorrow, select theaters nationwide Friday. What are your feelings about it? I got to check it out 2 weeks ago, and I have to say I thoroughly loved it, but I cannot wait to see it on the big screen, because if it looked this amazing on my television, I cannot wait to see it in the theater. So just tell me a little bit, just kind of what fans are in for this film.
Oh gosh. I mean, fans are going to have a physical reaction. I mean, they're going to be in that theater and just feel their palms sweating and their heart racing. And I got the opportunity to watch it with an audience a couple days ago, and I had as much fun watching it as watching everyone's reaction. I was like, and then I was like looking down at, whoever was in front of me, just going, oh my goodness, look at him. He's so excited, and my brother was with me, and he leapt to the edge of his seat. And I've told him everything that happened in this movie, because I'm really bad with spoilers. But he, oh my goodness, he was like on the edge of his seat going, oh my God. I was like, oh, it's getting you, huh? So get ready to be shocked, terrified, and taken over, honestly.
I can agree with everything you said 100%. I was literally on the edge of my seat pulling for you, and your character is Becky, and Virginia Ginny is Hunter, pulling for you both the entire time, because I will say Scott and the team just did a tremendous job of making the audience feel like we are up there with you.
Yeah.
And apparently, so this was filmed like right off a cliff, the majority of it, right? And how intense was that for you?
I mean, it was pretty awe-inspiring. When we climbed up the tower for the first time, I teared up because
Sure.
it's so stunning. And the desert is beautiful,
Yeah.
with the sunrise and the sunset. And we got to film during those times frequently. So I mean, every day we were out there, it was grueling, but the crew and all of us would be kind of taking pictures of the sunset at the end of the day. Even though it was time to go home, we were just like, oh, this is so pretty, even though we were so tired. But yeah, I mean, it was really immersive and honestly such a privilege to get to shoot in that setting, because you just don't always get that as an actor.
Yeah.
It was like I was a little girl playing pretend. It was amazing.
Gotcha. Now, I also heard that this was during the pandemic and whatnot. So the audition process had to take place via Zoom. And Scott, when we interviewed him yesterday, said he went through, dozens and dozens of auditions, and that you and Ginny just knocked it out of the park, and especially via Zoom. Now, was this something that you two maybe got together off camera in practice, or just straight, hey, let's get into it?
Who told you?
No, I'm curious.
Who told you? I slid into Ginny's DMs.
Okay.
I got a couple names of actors that I'd be doing a chemistry read with, and I hit them up and worked with a couple. But Ginny and I ended up working for 2 days over Zoom. Over FaceTime. And I'll tell you, it's really hard doing a chemistry-driven scene over Zoom.
Sure.
Where, you're not in the same room. You don't know what temperature the room is, but the air feels like, what outside ambient sounds they're dealing with. It's so interesting. You're just in total different worlds. Sure. Talking at each other. So we really dove into our characters. And I think that little session for us was a big shaper for each of our characters and how they ended up being presented in the film.
Nice. Now, did you actually get to see I want to make sure I got this right, the BG7 TV tower, like in person?
I didn't. Okay. I didn't get to see it, but when I booked fall, I was in Colorado. Okay. And I was road tripping back from there with my then boyfriend, now husband. Oh, my boyfriend at the time. And it was pretty precious. We're driving back, and there's plenty of TV towers when you're driving on the freeway. And he just turned down this random dirt road, and we had a little bit of an adventure of our own. He was my hunter, Yeah. And we didn't climb the tower, but we got really close to a super tall one to just kind of see what is it like. And I have some footage of that, which is kind of fun. But yeah, I got to see a TV tower, and I was watching YouTube videos of people climbing 2,000-foot towers and all of that.
Sure. I got to say, I haven't felt this immersed in a film. I can't tell you in a long time. Just the cinematography, the acting. When it's just you two, and I know you've been used to ensemble cast, Shazam, things like that. So when it's just you two and then battling the elements, not to throw any spoilers out there, but some creatures as well. What was that experience like? And how was Scott guiding you through it as far as just, expectations, things like that? And as an actress, how exciting is that for you? Because it's like, hey, all eyes are on me right now. And your co-star, of course, and the tower.
Oh yeah, but it is just the two of us. It's pretty precious to get to be responsible for so much of a story. When you're in an ensemble, you get a bite-sized chunk, a bite-sized moment, and it might be a good moment, but it's small. And sometimes you're told on set, oh, one of your moments got cut. And we can't have it in the finished movie. That happened to me on Shazam. And I was like, if it makes the movie better, right on. Yeah. But no, it was really intimate. And I feel like Scott really prepped us expectation wise we rehearsed in his backyard ahead of time. And he built a platform that was the same scale as that tiny platform that we're on for that movie, because we had to figure out, how are we going to sleep on this thing? Sure. How are we going to do some of the more pivotal scenes? And so we rehearsed back there and discussed the more heavy weighted scenes, so that when we were actually high up and Scott's directing us through the bullhorn, we were prepped almost like a play
Wow.
And Scott is incredibly receptive and inviting, at least he was to me, about how I felt about Becky, how I wanted to represent her. There were times that I had a different take on Becky and I wanted to play with her anger more. And Scott let me do that. And it was, I think, a really nice payoff. He and I are really happy that we get to see her anger, and that she's not just sad the whole time, but there's those different waves of emotion.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Well, I got to say, I know we got to wrap up here because you got more press day coming, but I do have a question from the fans, as we are a pop culture podcast. A lot of the fans are wanting to know, when you're not filming your amazing movies that you're in, are you into rock climbing? And if not, what other things are you into as far as TV shows, movies, books, things like that?
Okay, well, I had a rock climbing membership for a hot second, and I was bouldering, and that was really fun. I just did belaying the other day, actually climbing all the way up, and gosh, that's even better because then you're able to really be locked in and kind of assess the problem. So I do enjoy rock climbing. It's kind of similar for me to ballet because I have a massive ballet background.
Yeah.
So it's technical, it's in your body, it's in your head at the same time. But yeah, no, I enjoy ballet, I enjoy rock climbing. And I'm always watching really depressing, intense Christian Bale movies, I'd say. That's my consumption.
Nothing like The Machinist to get your day going.
Yeah.
Well, Grace, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, be sure to check out Fall on the biggest screen you could possibly find. We wish you success and nothing less. Thank you again for your time, and enjoy the rest of your press day.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Take care. There you go. As always, be sure to follow us on social media, Zero Dark Nerdy, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that fun stuff. And as always, big thank you to our sponsors out there, the Believe Podcast Network. Be sure to check out their website. That is BLEAV.com, betonline.ag for all your sports betting needs. And of course, the best movie theater here in the Triad area, Red Cinemas. Be sure to check out their website, redcinemas.com. More episodes coming your way. As always, check out our website for past episodes, trailers, news, notes, and more. That is popculturepodcast.com. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah! Victory! And anger management? Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. So start your free trial of Sirius XM today. Visit SiriusXM.com/believe.